So the first character that we'll be rating is Bucky, and Bucky has been in a ton of Marvel movies, and he's been awesome in every single one. The problem is he's now in a Thunderbolts movie, and he wasn't as great as he was in the other movies. He acted weird for some reason. I really felt like Bucky should be the cool guy. Why was he given little quips and awkward moments in Thunderbolts? Like, he should be the straight-faced Jason Bourne, I'm really good at this type of character, and they just made him silly in Thunderbolts, which was kind of disappointing, but he still is a good character, so I can't put him at S tier like I would like to, along with some of the really awesome Marvel characters. In this movie, I'm going to have to bump him down to an A. One thing I really appreciated that they did with Bucky, they didn't feel like they had to make an arc for him. He's already been through his arc, and they didn't have to make him hopeless like they do with some characters, like they did with Luke and like they did with Indiana Jones. They kept Bucky hopeful, and it kind of made me appreciate people who don't like the new Luke and the new Indiana Jones so much these days, because now it really puts it into perspective. Like, imagine if they took a character like Captain America, who I grew up with, and then 20 years later made him someone who had lost hope. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. The next character we have is Bob, and Bob is a little bit different than what he might seem. At first, he's just like the silly kid, and then he turns out to have super awesome powers. And for me, Bob was actually a pretty good character. I felt like sometimes things moved too quickly. Like, when he walked out in his fancy suit for the first time, it was just kind of awkward. It's like, that was weird. I don't really think that I can put him at an A, especially because he just forgets everything that happens. So it's not like he actually had much character development, even though we saw the character development happen, and then he just forgets it. So it's going to be hard to use him in the future, and they might have to do what they did with Hulk, is like every movie change him up. Like, first, he doesn't know what he's doing. Second, he can control his anger. Third, he's in a Hulkbuster suit. And fourth, now he can control it. He's half human, half Hulk. And they'll probably have to do that with Bob as well. I do think his character development was really good and really effective for the story. Kind of had that grand moment at the end, but he forgot it. So I can't put him at an A like I would have wanted to. I'm going to keep him at a B. The next character on here is Ghost, and I should know more about this character apparently because she's been in other Marvel movies, but I couldn't remember her. Someone told me she was in an Ant-Man movie. Okay. And she didn't really have much to do in this movie, and the only power that she had was to walk through walls, and the bad guys knew how to handle that, so she was very, very useless. The movie also, when Bob touches hands with people and shows them their trauma, it does that with Elena and it does that with Walker, but you don't get that moment with Ghost. We don't get to see into her past. We don't get to see into her trauma like we suppose that she's had, like she says very quickly that she had. We don't get to really see anything about her character, and we could have. It could have been an easy scene. Bob touches her hand. Oh, something happened to her when she was a child too. I don't think I can remember any of her lines. Yeah, I can't really think of anything that she brings to the team at all. Like, I was gonna put her at D, but like, what is even the point of putting her at D? I think I'm just gonna have to put her at F. Next up, we have the Red Guardian, and like I said before, I like the optimistic character. Yes, we have somebody actually happy in this movie and actually bringing joy and actually bringing the Marvel laughs. I was sitting there in the theater thinking, I don't know if I've laughed in a Marvel movie probably since Spider-Man No Way Home. And in this movie, I did laugh because of the Red Guardian. He had some really great lines. The acting was really awesome. And what you can tell about the Red Guardian is, yes, he's been hurt as well. He has reason to cry like Elena and the rest of them, but he doesn't. He pushes forward, and his humor is him, and I'm going to put him at A. Next up, we have the Taskmaster, and I don't even know why she was in this movie. F. Okay, next up we have Walker, and this is the character that I was the most interested while watching the movie. I was really rooting for this character, wanting him to be happy, wanting him to find some change, wanting him to find some joy in the new friends that he made, but he really doesn't get there in the end of this movie, unfortunately. On one side of things, that's exciting because maybe he'll have more of a growth in the future, but in this movie, there's no glimpse at all that he's a good person. Like, there's no reason to believe that there's any good in him at all, like there should be in a superhero. I hope in the future that he does become that awesome character, but as for now in Thunderbolts, I'm gonna leave him at a B. He does have a actual character, even when it is the Marvel jokes. You can tell that it's something that he would say. But because he doesn't have much of an arc in this movie, I'm not gonna bump him up to an A. I'm gonna keep him at a B. Next up, we have the villain. I don't remember her name at all, so there you go. That she's not a very good character. She had too many lines. Her script was really off. She needed a intern to do her work for her, and I think they put the intern there because they didn't know how to write it better. Like, they needed someone for her to speak to so that we could hear what her thoughts were instead of actually showing it on the screen. We should be able to understand that she's evil and understand her motivations without her having to explain it to us through this intern that she has. And also, this main villain lady person has a line where she says, "There are bad people and there are very bad people." And it's assumed that she thinks that she's the bad person, but no, she's the very bad person. Like, there's no reason that what she's doing is good at all. She was trying to take over Sentry so that no one could overpower her. Like, that's like the ultimate evil, is wanting power over everyone. Like, there's no, oh, I'm doing this for good reasons. You know, there's other villains who have good reasons for doing the bad things that they're doing. No, she doesn't. She's just the bad one. So when she says there's bad people and there's very bad people, like, explain to us why you think you're the lesser of the evils. You aren't. So because of that, I'm going to put her at a D. Now, the last character on the list is Elena. And Elena is a great character, but the problem I had with Elena is that she's just talking about her past. And yes, I get it. She's been through hard things. But we've been through this so many times with so many Marvel superheroes. And the problem is that WandaVision did it so well with the trauma thing that now anytime someone else tries to do it, it just doesn't measure up to the WandaVision story. And the other problem with the trauma-related backstory that she has is it's like trying to be relatable in a sense. It's like every day I get home and I scroll on my phone. Like, that is just, I could hear people saying that today. It's like, ugh, just get over yourself. But she does carry the movie quite well, and she does have actual care for Bob. So there's that. She's not an absolute a-hole like the rest of them. But I'm sorry, I'm going to put Elena at a B. And yes, I know I was probably really harsh about this, but honestly, these are the thoughts that I had while watching the movie. And if you disagree, I will totally be okay with that. You can tell me in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed the video.